Hello, everybody. This is Diana from Cluj IT. I think each and every one of you received a reminder from me this morning. Before starting off, I'd like to let you know that the activities of this workshop will be recorded and the entire workshop will be available on the Capttict project website. So if anyone would like to revisit some topics that are brought into discussion, some questions that will be discussed in today's session, that will be available. We will follow up the workshop when the recording is published on the website. Thank you.
And additionally, I think all the slides will be shared with all the participants.
Yes,
Good.
of course.
Excellent.
Okay, then I think we can start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our workshop, Bridging Innovation and Industry, a practical guide to tech transfer. That we have within the project Enhancing Capacities for Technology Transfer, Company Building and Innovations in the field of ICT, Capttict. Within the project, we have 16 partners from 9 different countries, and one of the partners are we, the Deckendorf Institute of Technology, as well as Cluj IT, who is also here. The project is funded by the Interreg danube program of the EU. And we're really happy to host this workshop today, and that we have so many interested participants here today. First of all, I want to thank our partners in Romania, Cluj IT, for supporting us with the workshop and helping us hosting the workshop today. And also want to thank Florin Paun. Thank you very much for supporting us as well. He's an expert for technology transfer and, as I understood correctly, the information manager at the Cluj IT. I hope.
I do. I'm part-time innovation manager for Cluj IT cluster, part-time chief science officer for an industrial aerospace and defense group in France, and also part-time member of the European Innovation Council from Pathfinder. Petra Kupkova, could you please I cut. Luckily, thank you, Diana, for making me also hosting. I could cut the mics to anybody which is not disciplined. So I'm also EIC jury member for Transition Accelerator, expert for Pathfinder, due diligence, and also Scale Up Club mentor. So I had at least 3-4 hats, but now I will try to share my experience from all the other hats I had within the project, and I'm acting as innovation manager for Cluj IT cluster.
So thank you very much, and I think then we're ready to go, and Florin, feel free to just start. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I will share the screen. Normally my screen is shared, yes. So I will go. For my presentation. This is it. I put it in diaporama mode. put it here. Okay, so it's this. Okay, everybody, do you have the presentation in the mode? Yep. Okay.
Yes, we can see.
We'll be together for 3 hours, where I will present some fundamentals and some practices related to tech transfer. I think among the participants, there are different levels of perception of what means tech transfer. So I will try to have a generic speech. Don't hesitate to interrupt me if you have a specific question related to the presentation, because the idea is to all of you understand what we discuss. I remind you we have a specific Q&A session after the 3 hours, so I will be available for 2-3 hours, eventually answering specifically and getting into details of what you will see. Also, we could discuss practical case you could disclose to the others, because we will not be alone. So yeah, just simply enjoy. I think we're gonna have a small break after 1 hour and a half of presentation for 10 minutes in order to don't be too intensive. Let's say I will start. The subject of the workshop is the practical guide to tech transfer. It's an introduction, because I bet with you nobody will be perfectly tech transfer officer in 3 hours. It takes 30 years to become a good tech transfer officer and practitioner, and I'm still learning daily about tech transfer cases, because you will understand there is no universal valid recipe for practically doing tech transfer. So I'm speaking now as Innovation Manager of Cluj IT Cluster within this Interreg funded project. And let's go. It is crazy. Wow, it doesn't work anymore. Something is wrong. Everything is locked on my computer. Everything. Escape. No, arrête le partage. Okay. Do it again. Again. Okay. If it's working like this, it's enough for me. Okay. So, first of all, Diana cannot work like this. I still have somebody need to take care of this screen in order to turn down all the windows. Please don't send more windows, because I see nothing. Okay. Good. So you'll understand that the tech transfer is mainly linked to what means innovation. I don't know what definition you have for the innovation, but I'm trying to do the shortest one. I had the chance to have von Hippel as professor in MIT Sloan. And the Americans, at least, the school of MIT, they define innovation in only 4 keywords as successful exploitation of a new idea. So, in fact, to innovate is not enough to be creative. You need to have value obtained based on these new ideas. Let's discuss what means value. Well, generically, from economic science point of view, value means 4 aspects. It is commercial, it is based on capital, it is based on access to resources, and also human capital. And there you will understand, by the way, that human capital means also know-how, which could be secret, and it will also create IP, intellectual property, which will be the object of technology transfer. The last 3 aspects of how to define and identify value, capital, access to resources, and human capital, from the point of view of Amartya, which is a Nobel Prize, are building the so-called dynamic capabilities. Capabilities as capacity plus ability to use the capacity in order to build an answer, to provide a new product or a new service to the market. Is the value material or it's intangible assets like the IP? Of course, the answer is both. IP is creating, from commercial point of view, registered trademarks. So Coca-Cola value is based more than 80% on the brand. IP is also enhancing your capacities, providing rights to use specific technologies patented. IP is also related to, as I mentioned, know-how, which is increasing the human capital. Is the information IP? Not necessary, but is the information value? For sure. Let me be more provocative. Is stress avoidance a value? If you don't believe that stress avoidance is a value, I'm really inviting you to have a deep understanding of the low-cost companies like Ryanair, or understand why Tesla brought to the market so successfully the electric car, because they are not selling only the electric car, they are selling the electric car together with their charging stations. So they were the first one to propose an electric car, avoiding the stress of recharging, because you could go everywhere in the world and use the Tesla chargers. Okay, so stress avoidance, of course, is creating value too. The idea is how to monetize this kind of different aspects of the value. And we have a French philosopher called Edgar Morin, who said that if you want to create money based on the different types of what means value, you need to implement mechanisms which are producing recursive causalities, a kind of spiral, where the effects are nourishing from causes and the effects will create again causes. As for example, the stress avoidance is creating time for you. And when you have time, you will consume differently. Okay? We are going far away. Another fundamental in order to really be aware of what means technology transfer and innovation is the word entrepreneur. Just to be sure, there is no tech transfer without a good entrepreneur somewhere in the process. The job of a good tech transfer officer will be also to qualify the skills of the entrepreneur, which will serve as a vector to carry out the technology from a laboratory to the market. I remember one of the words that our professor Ralph Katz was yelling to us in MIT Sloan: the best technology values nothing without the right carrier into the market. That's the importance of the role of the entrepreneur on board. What means entrepreneur? It's somebody who's assuming risk, it's solution-oriented, it's an independent, sometimes we are qualified as dreamer, fools, but are them morally selfish, nerds, jerks, guilty or not? I just give an example. I don't know if you've seen the movie called Social Network, describing the life of and the success of the Facebook, the life of Mark Zuckerberg. And I particularly noticed one sequence there where he was asking to his lawyer, defending him against the brothers Winterthur, Amy, please tell me, am I a jerk? It was a direct question Mark Zuckerberg asked to his lawyer. And if you have seen the movie, you will see that she was answering to him, no, Mark, you are not a jerk, but you did everything to become one. So, yeah, sometimes big entrepreneur means to be a jerk, means to be so pushy in order to step out of the others, because you will not get billions without behaving like this. Why? Because you are acting into the market, and the market does not know mechanisms like sympathy, like empathy. No, the market is jungle. The market, it's a fight. And if you don't have somebody who is able to fight in a jungle, well, you will not succeed in promoting the new product or the new service based on a new technology, emerging technology, based on a tech transfer project. So that's why it's very important who is your jerk, who is the guy who will sell his mother in the market. And I'm sorry maybe to insist on this kind of, let's say, morally negative part of an entrepreneur. You need him. If not, you will not have a successful tech transfer. Sorry, I'm convicted about this because I've seen around 300 projects in my professional life. From 300 projects of innovation based on tech transfer, I'm sharing now with you. The condition to success was a very good entrepreneur having all the defaults and also all the qualities needed to be a good entrepreneur. A good entrepreneur also needs this kind of other beautiful, I would say, values and behaviors. He needs to be charismatic. He needs to be leader, manager, promoter, planner, but also empathic, ethic, trustful. Is he technically based? Is he an engineer? I remember Steve Jobs was not necessarily a good engineer, but he has Kevin Wozniak with him. Is he from a human science? It's here an existing good recipe to identify the good entrepreneur. look on all these qualities and defaults listed here in this slide, how could you recognize if a guy or a girl is a good entrepreneur? Well, there is no miracle, no a single person in the world, well, yeah, not a single person possesses all these characteristics. In a single person, you could not have embodied all these features defining a good entrepreneur. So how to recognize the good entrepreneur? He is the guy who knows how to build an entrepreneurial team. You want my jerk? Go to see my commercial director. You want my empathic? Go to see my CTO, Chief Technical Officer. He's also very resilient. You know what I mean? The entrepreneur, the definition of the entrepreneur is coming from French. Don't listen to George W. Bush, who said once that the French do not know the word entrepreneur. Entrepreneur was introduced by an economist called Jean-Baptiste Say, and it is not coming from entrepreneur, it is coming from entrepreneur, which in French means between parties. Parties to what? Parties to a collective, collaborative process of creating value. Okay, the entrepreneur is the guy who's taking out the best of each individual surrounding him, because he's a good leader, but also he's giving you the motivation to prove that you are better than you think you are yourself. Okay, so and he's inducing a state of mind in his team. How could I create value today working together with the others? That's very important. You will see why. I'm anticipating a little bit. The tech transfer process, it's only a human-based process where two guys, at least two guys, very different, which everything is opposing, the researcher and the entrepreneur, need to work together, okay? Another fundamental, we have to discuss a little bit. I'm sorry for the guys coming from human science, from medicine, from agriculture, from IT, but this kind of scale was imposed to our professional lives since more than 15 years. Is the so-called technology readiness level scale, which is coming from space. This is the original thermometer, I call it. I introduce it to you, which is called technology readiness level, and it was published in '85 by a guy called Mankins working for NASA. I will try to do it more generic in order to be also applied to human science research and things like that, because these are the main instrument which could bring you money to innovate, to tech transfer and so on, because all the financial instruments to finance research and innovation are set on this technology readiness level, as you will understand. So first level, it is the fundamental research. And I salute one of my friend, Mirel, here present, that he's trying to look into the stars to understand if God is existing. That's a joke, Mirel. That's fundamental research. We try to understand physics, chemistry, and so on. From 1,000 ideas, only 100 are winning the statute of the so-called technology readiness level 2, which means applied research, and only 10 are getting successful to this stage in order to be able to create 3 proof of concepts. In TRL3, we call that proof of concept. TRL4, we have a prototype which is running in laboratory with wires everywhere, something like that. In number 5, we try to make a robust design, changing components, sometimes from the market, and we see that the prototype is not working anymore because a laser diode is not so clear, so we need to correct with adaptive optic and so on. Why? In order to reach in TRL6, the so-called technology demonstrator in operational conditions. So we are getting with the wires from laboratory onto the field, and it's working for what it was intended to work, okay? We packed all this, and in technology readiness level 7, we have the so-called industrial prototype. Sometimes it could be the first sale. When we try to sell a car, this is the prototype. We're going to crash it in order to establish that it has 5 or 3 stars at the Euro NCAP, crash test and so on. The planes also, they are crashed, the first prototype, or charged to see until when they are resisting. Well, it's good. You made something very well, and that's good. Now the question is how you will make 10,000 of them in the same matter. So in TRL8, it is the so-called setting up industrial capacities to produce this prototype numerous times. And in 9, well, in 9 you have the certifications. You respect the norms with all the 10,000 production, okay? These are specific jobs, very far from the researcher mind, but needed from the beginning to be taken into consideration in order to have a potential product or a service into the market. So let me tell you that the guys from laboratories are dealing with 100 ideas. The guys from industry are dealing with a potential product. So you see how much of the ideas are losing on the ways. And if you are looking to investment, how much money you need of doing this, well, you are getting up, you have the first sales and you will say, hooray, I will try to go to positive. No way, because you need money to product, to commercialize, to market this, to promote this. And this is where 9 out of 10 startups are dying because they systematically forget how to sell. That's a very noble business, selling something. And this kind of activity are generally highly disconsidered by researchers, which are the creators of the technology, because you say, well, that's a commercial, that's a salesperson, like it's a shame to be a salesperson. But the best technology also will not be sold by its own because it's existing. And that's the major confusion that the researchers are doing. They think that their product will be bought into the market because it's their product and it's the best in the world. No way. You need somebody to market and to promote the new technology. If not, the market will not accept it. And finally, all of us, we hope to have this positive here. We hope to win money. But at each stage, we ask for more money, more money, more money, going deep and going deep, with no warranties that we're going to have plus. This is the paradigm of any innovator. He is a cost. In the state of mind of a general director, of an entrepreneur, All this means cost. And that's why we call it the debt valley. And that's the paradigm of the innovation. We need money in order to die in the debt valley. And when I mean to die, look from how many ideas you will cause the valley of death with only one product. And that's difficult to accept. And again, it is simply because when you get outside of the researchers' world, which happened until TRL 6, you are getting into the market with no warranties that your product will be accepted. And that's why be prepared to die. Let me tell you how you speak about budgets at each stage is here. Well, I also underline here some levels of risk. How much risk are you taking when you decide at each stage to invest? And the hugest risk is here when you launch the product into the market. You will laugh. But let me tell you that the best off-roader of all times, it's a car called Mitsubishi Pajero, 7 times winning Paris-Dakar race. Why do you don't think to Mitsubishi Pajero when somebody's telling you what is the best off-roader in the world? You are generally thinking to Toyota Land Cruiser, to Nissan Patrol when it's not the Class G from Mercedes, or of course Land Rover, Range Rover, Jeep. Why not Mitsubishi Pajero? They won 7 times Paris-Dakar in a row. Well, we don't have with us any Spanish native speaker, but Pajero in Spanish means a very pejorative word, okay? So you will never buy this car because it is called Pajero. And you scramble all the money in creating the best product in the world, which is not selling. Okay? Who's the guilty guy? Of course, the program manager, not the publicist guy who was paid 2 million in order to invent the name of Mitsubishi Pajero. And we have full of other products which were not sold because they had the stupid advertising and stupid publicity. So here you scramble all your money, you have settled all the productions, so you made this investment here, and then you have no sales to get in positive. That's why I'm telling you, it's all the jobs we're gonna see here, all along the TRL chain, are equally important. So commercializing, it's important. But when you are performing technology transfer, please tell me how many of the researchers, and including how many of the tech transfer officers, are thinking how to promote and how to commercialize the expected product after 2 or 3 years of tech transfer program. Just a warning. Okay. That's why you need a very good entrepreneur or intrapreneur if you are dealing with a license with an existing corporations or an industry, okay? Because best technology values nothing without the right carrier into the market. That's why I insisted on your job as a tech transfer officer will also be to identify the skills of entrepreneur and eventually to correct very diplomatically the entrepreneurial team, identifying the skills which are missing into the team. And now that's maybe the first shock. I don't know how many from the audience are already tech transfer officers. And Florin is already telling you that's your job to identify if it's a good entrepreneur, the guy who you will transfer. Yes, I insist on this. And you will see you will have a lot of other jobs. get to our two purpose, technology transfer. What means technology transfer? It's a license, it's a patent, or it's a license on software, or it's a secret know-how exclusive communication, so-called, again, license on know-how. But it's not a license, because a license, you lease something. You could get back the rights. You get the license for 2 years, and if the guy doesn't sell, you could take back the license from him. When you license a know-how, you are not licensing know-how. You communicate the know-how, which was secret, and the guy also knows the new method how to provide health through kinetic manipulation of a patient or a dog. Okay, it is a very good kinetotherapeutic method. You communicate it, you train him. You could not take this back from him if he's not good to put this into the market. So that's why it's an exclusive communication and not necessarily a licensing, which means a leasing type of contract. But technology transfer is also an R&D collaborative contract between an industrial and a researcher. So technology transfer could take a lot of shapes. I mean, contractually. Good. Who are the involved actors? Of course, the R&D laboratories are creating new technologies. But the R&D laboratories, never forget, could be public as could be private. A lot of corporations have very powerful research centers, which are creating a lot of technologies and patenting them. Of course, they could come from universities, but they also could come from research centers like in Germany you have DLR, you know, Deutsche Luftraumfahrt, which is not a university, like some of the institutes of Fraunhofer have it from universities, some are coming from institutes. In Romania and also in all the countries, you have specific organisms doing research, as you have universities where the professors are also teaching, but also doing research. Well, what is the most important? These kind of actors are the technology source. They are creating new technologies. Who's using these technologies? It could be industries or companies in services. It could be small and medium enterprises, could be corporations, big groups, but it could also be startups. So they are technology adopters. But technology adopters could be the public administration. They are buying a new software who's digitalizing the taxes or hospitals. Of course, it could be armies. Yeah. Dual-use technologies, police forces for security. So the technology adopters could be private. Technology adopters could be public as could be private, okay? And the sources also, but they are R&D laboratories. Have you seen the variety of actors? My first question to you, do they work in the same manner, all of this? No, the answer is no. So you already perceive the complexity of the relationship between source and adopters. So that's why I'm telling you it's difficult to get a valid procedure on how to do a successful tech transfer. So that's why we call it a guide. Technology. The technology is the object of the transfer. You are transferring rights related to industrial properties, patents, schematics, industrial design. You could transfer also patrimonial rights related to the author rights, the copyright, and this is specifically for software, as it is for music composition or a poesy. And you could also transfer know-how by communicating it. I will insist on this know-how. Since '98 and the agreement of Marrakesh, secret know-how is recognized as industrial property and as, no, sorry, not industrial property, is recognized as intellectual property, okay? Don't make the confusion between industrial and intellectual property. Industrial, it's everything you could have on paper, patent, design. Intellectual property, it's larger, it's associating the author's right, like the copyright, and also the secret know-how. In order for the secret know-how to be associated to the intellectual property, there are three conditions. Secret, of course, substantial, and identifiable. Okay, if you have the three words, substantial, identifiable, and secret, you could value your rights on intellectual property. Okay, technology servers are the producer of the technology, are the creator of the new emerging technology, and technology adapters, they have the role to implement the technology in the market. Let's get in detail and study their behavior. I'm proposing here the first type of behavior when a researcher is meeting a startupper, okay? Generally, it's the same person, but I need to separate the two behaviors in order to understand how a researcher needs to behave when he wants to make a startup. And of course, the small and medium enterprise, if you are working with them and trying to get a license to them, they are behaving like a startupper because he is living on his own money. Get back to the investment curve. So this money in blue, it was the financial support of the R&D laboratory. And you have 10 ideas who get into projects, and from 10, you have 1/3 which successfully reach the level of prototypes in laboratories. This was performed due to applied R&D programs, okay? You have no industrial interest until here, except some really extreme cases where the industries had common laboratories with universities, as for example. Now, the idea is how you convince and whom you have to convince to give you more money. So imagine you are a researcher, you develop something which is very useful for you in your mind, you have a proof of concept, and you are going to see your boss, the head of laboratory, asking him for money to create a lab demonstrator. What will be the reaction of this guy? I'm sorry, I don't have money. Or let me ask our industrial partners if they are interested about. Okay? We discussed about the fact that this is the case where you decide to get into a startup creation or to speak with a small and medium enterprise. Who's taking the decision to invest? For the startup creation, well, you need to face their business angels. You are getting around to 500 kilo euro in approximation. When you are creating a startup in digitalization, you could do it with 100,000. When you create a startup in medicine, you are getting for more than 2 million generally. The average is around 500K. And the decision will be taken by the industrial lab versus the R&D lab who create the technology. Why? Because the technology needs to be carried to the field demonstrator, to the tech demonstrator in technology readiness level 6 or 7. Good. These guys are deciding that they are putting their own money, 500K. If they could have some grants from public, they will not say no. So that's why here at European level, specifically for startups, you have what we call transition program inside the European Innovation Council, okay? But you could go as a consortium with the intention to create a startup or to license to a small and medium enterprise, and you could go as a laboratory also in transition. Now suppose you achieve the field demonstrator. Hooray, it works in conditions who are intended from the beginning. Who's bringing the money to set up production facilities? Well, in the startup case, these guys are the venture capital. They invest more than 2 million generally. And the decision will be taken based on quality, certification, production. Whoa. Let me ask you what happens between the business angel and the venture capital here. Generally, the venture capital will ask to the business angel to sell his shares in the created companies. So there he will say, well, I don't want you to be on board more. You did your job, you invested, and I'm proposing you to buy your auctions 3 times more you invested because you assume the risk. And the business angel is telling, no, I don't want 3 times more, I want 5 times more. And that's very important. I would say it's crucial to debate between them. A business angel could kill the deal, as well as venture capital. So the negotiation, the main negotiation at this stage, based on money, will be between the VC and the business angel. And of course, the CEO of the company will say, hey, I need your money to further develop, not to buy the business angel shares. So if I need 2 million euro and the business angel want 2.5 million, so you need to pay 4.5 million, no, 3.5 million, 1.5 to buy the shares of the business angel and 2 million to continue to invest in development of the company. Do you perceive what are the discussions about? Do you think they are discussing about the technology at this level? So I'm sorry for the researcher who created the technology, but nobody cares about the technology already. They are caring about their money. What is your position when you are in TRL 3-4? Wow, you are very excited that you got business angel commitment for 500 kilo euros when you get time back. Don't be so excited. As he qualified you as entrepreneur and as research and as technology, and he decided to invest, assuming he is to invest, well, you need to qualify him about his capacity to exit financially. It's your job as a researcher? No way. Do you know whose job it is? Tech transfer officer again. And you will start to hate me at the end. The tech transfer officers need to qualify the entrepreneur and now need to qualify the business angel. Yes, this is your job and this is your guide. You will say, I don't know how to do it. The majority, no problem. Start learning about business model, about business value chain. We'll see further away. Because this is your job as tech transfer officer. Of course, nobody will invest if you don't have a protected IP which is occurring previous to the TRL 3-4. Why? Because the only competitive advantage into the market will come based on your exclusive rights on the intellectual property. Remember, intellectual property, industrial property, plus copyright, plus secret know-how. Important. And again, who knows about this? The patent attorney? Maybe. But whose business is to qualify the technology and the competitive advantage? Again, tech transfer officers. You will definitely hate me, but this is your job as tech transfer officer, and this is your guide, okay? And this is your warning. Qualify the IP, qualify the strategy of the IP, qualify the entrepreneur, qualify the business angel. Because if not, in TRL 6, he will kill the deal, he will not be able to sell his shares to a venture capital, and the company will stay there into the death valley. Okay? You will see everything I am introducing to you is based on the hits I received when I was trying to be tech transfer officers. And I have a scare on my face each time when I'm presenting something to you. So I'm telling this to you in order to avoid you to have hits and have scares. Go further away. How do you deal with corporation this time? So let's say Siemens is interested about your new technology. Again, you develop the technology inside the laboratory, and I put some red color because Siemens already paid for an R&D contract. Wow, interesting. So at the end, who take the decision at the end of the laboratory stage? So you made the demonstrator, the proof of concept in laboratory, how the technology will be taken into consideration to be further developed. Easy. The corporate R&D director will say, it's good, I'm investing, let's go. I will continue to pay the R&D laboratory, maybe, or I will develop the technology internally inside my laboratory because I'm paying for. You have seen the curve, it's figurated already in red. Because the technology is preempted with exclusive rights generally by Siemens, by the corporation who decide to invest further. Well, let me tell you something also. How the decision is taken inside the corporation that a field demonstrator will gonna get in production. Do you think he's the corporate R&D guy who say, boss, you need to go with this in production? Nope. It will be the commercial guy who will say, yeah, that's a good technology, it's creating a competitive advantage, I'm going to. And the boss will be ready to sign. And then you will have somebody in the executive committee of the Siemens will say, may I have something? The purchasing director, the supply chain manager. He will ask simply, who will produce? And the corporate R&D will say very enthusiastic, I found a startup who is able to produce this, it will be great. And the guy will answer to him, is he qualified as supplier? Nope. He is killing the innovation process at this stage, the supply chain manager of the corporation. And I'm again telling you, honorable audience, honorable tech transfer officers acting or trying to act. Who has the job at the TRL3 level to be, let's say, aware about the position of the supply chain purchasing manager of the corporation when the corporate R&D director is not aware? You, as tech transfer officer, because you are the only one interested that the technology transfer reach the market in order to be able to write a very nice success story in order to say, I was the guy in charge to deal with this tech transfer agreement, and I negotiated him, and I remind to the corporate R&D center director, my friend, by the way, you need to know them, all of them. You need to dinner with them. You need to go playing golf with them. They are your clients, and they are not necessarily good enough to understand the next step and to face their supply chain manager. You need to prepare already a supply solution for the production stage. At least make the corporate R&D aware, okay? Again, your job as a tech transfer officer, again, another line into your guide. To resume, again, competitive advantage, importance of the IP strategy. Protect your ideas. When I mean protect, patent, as well, keep it secret. And again, there, the technology transfer officer, it will be the bad guy, which will forbid publications to his researchers as colleague. I've been in ONERA, I've been the innovation director of the French National Aerospace Research Center. I was launching the tech transfer office for them. I brought ONERA in less than 5 years from 0 license to 15 license per year, but I was the bad guy blocking publications for the scientists. The 2,000 scientists of ONERA were crying to the president. I had at least 3 complaints per day that I'm bad guy forbidding publications. And I was not forbidding publication. I was simply respecting the timeline. Protect the IP, patent. I was setting, of course, a tech transfer officer, which is not coordinating the IP strategy inside the university or other labs. I'm sorry, is not an efficient tech transfer officer. So get the information to your bosses. If he wants to have need to coordinate the IP strategy, he is in right to refuse publication previous to patenting. And then the publication, scientific publication, will be the best advertising for the patent. By the way, Siemens will respect you if he's paying for an R&D project, and at the end, you patent and not publish first. Yeah? Go for more. Yeah, that's a very important notion also. We have 1 hour. Okay, I'm in time. Let's discuss about the limit of innovation. I figurated here generically some markets, some domains. Software development, down, left. Information and telecommunication, left, but not necessarily down, but very high complexity, which is equivalent with cost. Aerospace and defense, it's covering from down left, which could be small drones, up to very far in time, 10 years of development and very complex product like a jet fighter. Biogenetics, pharmacy are even longer in time to market because you need certifications and things like that. And when you are speaking about genetics, it's very complex, also very high. Electronics is in the middle, automotive, 3 to 5 years, but the Chinese are shifting to less than 3 years, able to develop a new type of automobile, and so on. This diagram was created by Ronan Stefan, who showcased this generically. And I was completing the limits because he didn't get it right. He had a hyperbolize limit. And in fact, the limit is convex, like the one figurated here for the startup innovation follow-up limit. Why? A startup who has a great idea, do you think he could create a new jet fighter? No, because he has not the money. So just to be sure, SpaceX was a startup, but it was a specific startup with a lot of money. Generally, the startup have not the money. So if you don't have the money, well, your innovation follow-up limit is quite low because you have not the money, you could not master the product complexity. Then, a small or medium enterprise has a little bit more money, a little bit more time. Large corporations, but you pointed here, even large corporations need multinational or national, if you are American, strategic program support. You will not develop a new jet fighter, 6th generation, working together with UAVs and things like that, loyal wingmen, only on national money as European. We are not big enough, okay? So that's why we need European Defense Agency and things like that. Again, you will not master by yourself very important genetic programs, okay? Unless if you are Chinese or American. But all the other countries, small countries, need multinational programs. And that's very interesting because you could wait, you could see that as tech transfer officer, you will need to take decisions with whom you will try to inject in a specific market a new technology. So the idea is you have a researcher which discovered a plasma type of propulsion engine. Do you think you need to develop it with a startup? No way. You will lose your money and time. And it is pity for the good technology because maybe it is very pertinent. So that's why you need to work with Airbus Defence and Space for such a stuff. Or, but you could use startups, and better, you could use small and medium enterprise to create technology demonstrators. And when you have a technology demonstrators reaching TRL6, you will give chances to the technology to be promoted further through main industrials, important corporations, or national strategic programs. Okay, so don't hesitate. And this is the particular hint as a guide in tech transfer. Don't hesitate as a tech transfer officer, because again, it's your job, to investigate other markets than the originally intended one. Why? Maybe you could have some niche markets which will create an electric propulsion faster in bicycling than in automotive. You see what I mean? So yeah, look for other markets where the technology could penetrate the markets faster and choose different vectors of carrying the technology into the market, which are much more agile, like startups and small and medium enterprise. And if time will allow, I will give you some examples. In ONERA, we developed LiDARs to measure vortex around the wings, and the LiDAR was successfully transferred to a company which used them for other markets because they qualify the potential of production of windmill farms. wind energy, okay? And it was working. In less than 2 years, the guys were 20 million euro turnover per year, and they created 120 jobs. And after 5 years, they moved back into the aerospace market, and they killed the product of the Lockheed Corporation, selling a more performant LiDAR to measure shearing winds on the runways when the plane's taking off. Okay, I'm sharing some examples at the end. Okay, so that's the example called Leosphere. You could see the company called Leosphere. And finally, when they reach the aerospace and defense market, which are much bigger, they were bought by a Finnish group, which is the world leader in meteorological condition and measuring, called Vaisala. Yes, I'm getting in this notion, and then I'm proposing a time break for 10 minutes, but I need to discuss with you about the value distribution channel, because it's a very important notion to be understood by the technological source as well by the technology adopter, and mainly positioning right the technology into the market. It's also the job of technology transfer officer. I will share here my views on a value distribution channel I know, because I'm operating since 30 years in the commercial aircraft market, among other markets. But don't hesitate to build your own value distribution channel related to any market you intend to address with an emerging technology, okay? Just work through analogy based on this. First question to be asked is, who is putting money inside the tunnel? The question is, who is able to pay for your new product and your new service? Who will bring you the first penny? That's the most important question. How much he will be able to pay you your new intended product or technology? So in the case of commercial aircraft, it is the passenger, you and me, sitting into a seat while taking a plane. Where the money is going? Well, to the airline. You buy your ticket to the Bulgaria Air, to Lufthansa, to LOT if you are Polish, to Tarom if you are Romanian, to Air France if you are French, and so on. So you pay 100 euro to the airline. What technology is using the airline? Well, it's using an aircraft. So he's paying to possess or to lease or to use an aircraft. To whom? To an aircraft manufacturer, Airbus, Boeing, Comac now in China, and so on. What are the technology used into an aircraft? Well, they are proposed by the development office of the corporation, the program managers, from whom they are taking technologies, from the corporate research center, who's taking technologies from the R&D centers, public or others, applied R&D, which are taking ideas from universities, providing basic, fundamental research and development. Good. This is the value distribution channel. Now, let's speak about the value. From 100 euro, you pay to Air France or Lufthansa. Do you know how much is going to the Airbus or Boeing? That's the first question. How the money is flowing into the distribution channel? try to have a guess from yourself. You could use the chat, propose me some numbers. That's the most important stuff when you are doing tech transfer. Who's gonna pay you for what? And you need to understand where you are. Generally, as technology transfer officer, you are representing the R&D applied center, okay, down. And the idea is how much money you will be able to take from 100. It was the first time when I asked the question to myself and I didn't get the answer. I was innovation director for the French Aerospace Research Center called ONERA, Office National d'Études de Recherche Aérospatiale at that time. And I was in charge with tech transfer, IP, and selling new developments. Also export, R&D contracts. And as I had no answer, I was going to see my preferred industrial called Airbus, and I was asking this to the general director, Jean-Marc Thomas, general director Airbus France. And I was asking him, Jean-Marc, please tell me how much you are getting from 100 from a passenger. Do you know what? He didn't know the answer. He thanks me for the question. It is a very interesting question, Florin. I don't get the answer, but I'm coming back to you with the right answer. And he spoke with his sales vice president, John Leckie, who asked to the airlines how much an aircraft accounting mobilization is weighing into the turnover of the airline. Well, the answer was 7. Interesting, yes? 7%. Good. This allowed me to calculate my budget. And in ONERA, we barely took 2 cents. 2 cents for our technologies provided to Airbus to make the best aircraft in the world. My question, do you think it's fair to have only 2 cents from 100 euro? Without us, definitely, Airbus could not build such a beautiful and performant aircraft. 2 cents. And there I understood why it's important for the guy who was heading the technology transfer office of ONERA to understand how the game is played here and what are the rules of the game. And there I understood that it is not DLR or universities or NASA, my competitors. Figurated there at each level, you are speaking about market competitors at horizontal. The most important competition is the vertical one. Why? I would say all these bastards, I think it's registered, yes, so I'm waving my words. All these bastards are taking my money from 100 euro. They are leaving to me only 2 cents. Immediately you think like this, there you are understanding as a guide that your job as tech transfer officer is to maximize the return to the technology creator. You are representing it and you are working for. You are fighting for your researcher colleagues who create wonderful technologies to get more money for the technologies from the upper levels. The vertical competition, you could master it only when you transform the costs you are perceived as a cost from their supply chain managers, okay? You are perceived as a cost, or you want to sell your price. So you win, the price is winning against their cost only when you become critical for him, because you are the only one able to provide this technology based on your IP exclusivity. Backing again, a technology transfer process could not start with the right IP strategy. And you will say again, it is not my job as a tech transfer officer. It's the job of the patent attorney and IP jurist. No way. It is your job. You are the boss as technology transfer officer on this process, and ask to your big boss, could be the rector of the academy, could be the general director of your research center, to be the hierarchical superior of the IP office. You are the boss, tech transfer officer, you are the boss on the IP strategy. If not, it could not work. A performant tech transfer office could not exist without heading the IP activity. Okay. You have seen here, I wrote historically. Why? Nowadays, they Airbus cut their corporate research center in Suresnes and Ottobrunn. Why? They start to ask to the so-called Tier 1 strategic partners to co-develop their solutions, and they were creating their own tubes related to technology development. And this is only related to how the money is flowing towards technological innovation. But there is not only innovation based on technology. You will understand you have a lot of other innovations. Maintenance. Well, that's another market deserving the same stuff, the passenger. Maintenance. So when I understood that maintenance related to commercial aircraft is weighing twice more than building a new aircraft, I was wondering why us from ONERA are creating technology only to make more performant an aircraft, and why we are not looking to maintenance procedures and to maintenance technologies. So that's why we invented cobots to perform better maintenance, to reduce the cost of maintenance. And of course, we had more money on R&D projects and on tech transfer based on maintenance. Services, and of course, they created new branches to deliver, to get money. Low-cost passengers, you have Lufthansa and you have Germanwings, the low-cost subsidiary. You have Air France and KLM, you have Transavia, and so on. You have cargo activity, you have charter passenger planes on demand, yeah, like Virgin Atlantic. Richard Branson, again, a genius in business model. But just to tell you that we are in the world where you don't have any more value distribution chain. You have value distribution trees. The money is flowing from up and is going at each level in each route, okay? Additionally, Ryanair discovered the 15% versus 7 and said it's too expensive. I will not pay for maintenance. Whoa, security. No, you didn't get it. I will only operate brand new aircraft. Ryanair has the newest fleet of aircraft in the world. And by the way, do you know what he's buying now? Do you think he's buying any more aircraft? No way. You will say, no problem. He is leasing the aircraft. No way neither. Do you know what Safran is selling to the Boeings which are equipping Ryanair? He's not selling any more engines. He's selling millions of units of kilometer Newton. He's selling availability of propulsion. Why? Because Ryanair call Airbus and call Boeing, asking them not to sell aircraft, but asking them to sell millions of units of kilometer passenger. He said, I'm provider of mobility from point A to point B. I'm selling the Uber from your domicile to the airport. I'm selling the transportation from town A to town B. And when you are landing, I'm selling you the Uber, and I'm also selling to you the hotel where you will stay. He's provider of mobility, and he understood how to diminish the cost of operating an airplane. Additionally, to create discomfort, and then you will pay for stress avoidance. When you are taking a flight ticket with a low-cost company, if you want to have all comfort on board, if you want to not queue but to go for priority, if you want to have a luggage, when you addition everything, you will pay the same like for Air France or Lufthansa, but at least you know for what you are paying. He's a genius in selling tickets. Additionally, we need to discuss about this also. In the value chain, we discover that 7% is going to Airbus. Do you know how much is going to the airports? An average of 4%. So you are paying taxes of airports for 4%, when the full plane is costing 7%. Well, an airport is a huge town. They are working 32,000 guys for Charles de Gaulle in Paris. So they worth their money, the 4%. But let me ask you something. Do you know who's selling the tickets? A company called Amadeus. They are selling tickets for more than 80% of airlines registered at the IATA organization, International Association of Transportation in Aviation. 80%. That's a monopoly. And they are taking 2.5 euro. More than a third of an aircraft just for selling tickets. Why they have so much money by simply selling tickets? Because they are on a vertical competition. They are the first to see the passenger. Let me ask you, do you know how much margin has a company operating well? If they have 2-3% of margin from 100 they are paid, they are satisfied. So Air France is taking 2% in margin when they are paying 2.5 Amadeus to sell the tickets. Don't tell me that the marketing director of Air France is not a stupid guy. It's what the Ryanair perceived, and he said, no way, I will sell my tickets alone. I will pay some informaticians. They will create the marketing and sales software, and I'm doing this online. Done. 2.5% more in margin. And the question you could have, why Air France is not doing this? Commodity, incompetencies of the leaders. What do you want? So just to highlight you the importance of understanding in what market are you going with a new emerging technology, what will be the competitive advantage, how we're going to grab vertical competition in order to have more return financially based on your royalties or selling of the technology, and everything is related to arguments you will have as technology transfer officer when you will sell or when you will lease, you will negotiate the license agreement with the industrial. And this is your job, negotiating the license while doing technology transfer. Okay? And by the way, maybe the scientists who create the technology will be very satisfied if you are a good negotiator. And when you want to negotiate well, you need to understand the market, you need to understand the value chain, distribution, in order to get for more money. By the way, again, how you are doing this, because the world, the industrial world, is moving from this kind of programs They have ideas, they put this into a funnel, and they define a program, a project, and they are advancing on TRL, and they are moving to this. Since 2003, I highlighted you here the so-called open innovation model. All the corporations start to practice open innovation models. Well, that's a full book written about this. I could not use the time dedicated to the tech transfer to explain what means open innovation. But the fact that the funnels are not more sealed, but they are perforated, this means that everybody could become supplier in a program, even if they were not taking into account at the beginning of the project. And by the way, the external partner here, Chesbo figurated that he's leaving your program. If you are program manager inside the corporation, don't trust in the external partners you cluster for your program, because they maybe will not let you to reach your target. They will leave you in the middle of the program, reaching a new other market. But also use other markets with reduced time to market, a niche market. Send your young fellows to build the hybrid system with battery mixing the power of a human while cycling, because he will prepare the technology faster for you in order to build a hybrid car, for example. Yeah. Just to tell you that if the funnels are different, you have to make deals each time when you get inside or getting outside of a corporation program. You need to have humans, and the humans are you, tech transfer officers, making the deals, because the open innovation doesn't mean open bar on the IP. Sorry, I discovered that this is written in French, or mixed French with open bar sur l'API. Well, it's open bar on the IP in English. I cite Professor Berkeley. You could go for more information by reading his book. All these are tools to accelerate the tech transfer. And the fact that open innovation is existing, all these funnels here are over-perforated, so everybody could get into them. And just to give you an example here, this tire one, it's coming from automotive, and he created a masterpiece of an aircraft. It's the cockpit. Well, do you know who designed the cockpit for the most trendy and the newest aircraft in business jet, which is the Falcon by Dassault? Well, here is BMW design office. Let me ask you, is BMW an actor on automotive? Definitely yes. Is him in aerospace? Definitely become one. So just to mention you an example of how the trees of various markets could be penetrating, and each of the guy in the roots could supply different other markets. And energy is connected as a market, financial services are transversally connected, and ITC, digital, it's a kind of mangrove roots serving each tree, and it's only at the beginning. The digitalization, it's like a tsunami, bringing us from a world where you distribute value through chains into a world where you distribute value through a mangrove forest. By the way, for scientists, as soon as I publish that, I receive 150 citations in less than 6 months. So that's a scientific paper. And I was telling to Pareto, God damn, you are right with the Pareto law of 80% creating 20% of who you are, and 20% of your work creating 80% of who you are. Because I was 10 years researcher in structure and materials, and I never had the publication with 150 citations so fast. That when I published in Economy of Innovation, the mango forest concept, and also you will see the demand readiness level we will discuss in the second time of the workshop. I give you here some examples of disrupting business model through digital. Dynamic pricing is the algorithms of Amadeus. They are selling tickets with 2.5% when Airbus is selling an aircraft with only 7%, just to have an idea of what market means. Onboard connected parts. Could you buy a car now, a new car, without having the possibility to connect your smartphone to the screen which is present into your car? No way. By the way, you are producing cars, but you could not sell anymore a car if you could not project your smartphone into your tactile pad inside the car. Okay? Is this normal for you as a user? Yes. But try to think you are the technical development director of Renault or Skoda. Okay? You will damn them. You see, how could you ask me to build a car around an iPad? Yeah, that's why Tesla was so successful. Because Tesla is not more a car. It's an iPad on 4 wheels. And you will see how the world of automotive will be transformed when the legislators will allow the autonomous car to be operational. Because this will completely change the car from a social object you want to possess, and you are proud about your Mercedes, into an utility object, which you don't want to possess this anymore. So I'm selling car, and you tell me that you will not buy the car anymore, you will use it. So you force me into my business model, into my distribution value tree, or even mango forest, to become fleet manager and provider of mobility. Everything based on using your smartphone. Wow, damn. Okay? But why I'm telling you this, I'm awareing you as tech transfer officer that I don't know in what branch you will transfer your technology. I'm simply asking you to be very aware about the fact that economically the world was transformed from a bamboo forest in a mango forest. Be aware everywhere, because you have the chances and the opportunities to transfer the technology, becoming supplier everywhere, specifically when you develop digital softwares. Okay? So let give you a guide. Be agile. Some other examples: financial prediction based on big data analysis and ongoing developments on satellite imaging use. Satellite image. It was meteorological, it was military. Now it's coming to predict the evolution of the real estate market in Bangalore. It's going. Speak with Quan Cube. It's a very charismatic entrepreneur, by the way. And I signed the license agreement when I was heading the office at ONERA. I transferred to him satellite imaging algorithm to detect automatically some objects. And he signed for the agreement, he's paying royalties to ONERA, and he's selling this technology embedded into a predictor of real estate market in India and China. Okay? You see how the technology could go. So, and everything I was presenting to you, again, are based on my practice. I negotiated and signed this agreement from A to Z. Okay? I was not alone. At the end, I was building a huge team with 20 guys. Among them, 12 were tech transfer officers. Okay? 6 were patent attorneys and things like that. Okay, let's make a break for 10 minutes because now I will start more, let's say, more practical notions. I finished the part of the fundamentals and the actors. So let's meet at quarter to sharp. Yeah.
Yes, the link will remain active. So if you'd like to stay connected, that's okay. We will signal when we'll emerge.
So we're gonna be back at quarter to sharp, and then we're gonna have 1 hour and quarter of workshop, and then we're gonna make a break time for lunch, I think, and we come back in 1 hour for question and answer, whatever. In these presentations as well, we could discuss on concrete base on examples you could showcase publicly. Okay, go. 10 minutes. I will stay like this. Go. Așa. Partajez.
Și audio să-l pornești.
Da.
Și asta că și audio.
Am pornit.
Da?
Am pornit, da. Partajez. Ok. Se vede ecranul? Perfect. Okay. We are back, guys. We discussed about what means tech transfer, what means innovation, the importance of the entrepreneur on board, some activities specifically related to the job of being tech transfer officer. And now we're going to start to try to position the actors and to describe their motivations and their activities in order to be precise about how the technology transfer officer could perform better his job of technology transfer. I put down the technology readiness level scale. I fixed only several important levels, not all of them 9, in order to highlight where the actors are operating. So in 1, it's only the public R&D laboratories operating. Very few private actors are doing fundamental research. The majority of the private, you find them in 2, and also numerous applied research capacities are from public also in TRL level 2, which means applied research. And I mentioned the Fraunhofer in Germany, the Carnot Institute in France, and so on. Not only them, of course, a lot. Some of them are financing activities which are reaching the TRL 3-4, let's say the proof of concept level and the lab prototype, okay? But let's speak about large industrials. Large industrials are operating with their research centers from TRL 2, applied research, and they cover the full spectrum of technology readiness level and the full spectrum of technological developments. They are also certifying in 9, and of course, they are also selling their products into the market above the 9. This is when they are in their strategic roadmap, defined and upgraded yearly. The champions among them, which are practicing the open innovation model you have seen from Professor Chesbrough, are also able to scout globally for technology, to look for technology emerging elsewhere, and they are able to inject through the perforation in their programs, in their funnel of innovation, they are able to inject technological demonstrators which were developed elsewhere. They are paying for this, and they are reaching their target, their new product, faster. And by the way, they are able to put into the competition their own development technology demonstrator with the one developed outside. I'm not telling you that some of them, they are also able to kill completely their internal R&D development funnel, okay? But they are looking for disruptions, we are looking for technologies from other domains, and so on. Startups. Well, startup has a particular type of job. He's taking technology from laboratories, and he's developing it, and he's going into the field demonstrator, technological demonstrator in operation condition. There, as I mentioned previously, they need money from venture capital, and they develop themselves if they are hitting a niche market, if they are disrupting an existing big market. Generally, they are identified by large corporations. They test their tech demonstrator, and generally they finish by acquiring the startup, not only the technology. And generally, they are going on existing markets through ventures. They sell completely the company, or they make a strategic partnership. But let's say they have a very difficult job, so that's why only 1 by 10 are successful, because they are acting in technology push approach by trying to implementing a new technology in existing market or creating a new market. That's why very important the entrepreneur on board for such a adventure, I would say. Small and medium enterprise, how to work with them? They are operating in the market at the right. They have their own development offices with good engineers, which are also able to tackle a technology demonstrator and inject them into their programs and propose to the market a new product or a new service while reaching the certification stage in TRL 9. Some of them, very few of them, is depending, I would say, from the ecosystems, is depending from the states. As for example, we have German partners, and the Mittel in Germany, a lot of them are hiring doctors, engineers, not only engineers. Why it's important? They could fill the gap here between Fraunhofer Institute and the company with people which understand each other, okay? But I don't know, in France, we don't have many doctors which are working for small and medium enterprise. In Romania, I even don't tell you. I don't know how it is in the other countries from the consortium members all along the Danube River. It's not easy for a small and medium enterprise to hire a doctor position able to bridge the different technology readiness level from laboratory to industry. So that's why I put it in figurative, dotted straight. Why? Because here we have a problem. Additionally to this capacity handling results of research here, we also have this problem of financing. Is the so-called equity gap, because unfortunately we are not in Israel, or we are not in UK, or we are not in United States. This gap here is mainly closed by business angels or by head of companies which must behave like business angel to invest between laboratories to technology. By the way, when you take the decision to invest here, you are a little bit mad. Why? Technology is not still demonstrated in operational conditions, so you still have a huge risk on technology. And of course, you still have a huge risk on the market acceptance of a new product that you try to sell it here, okay? And that's together with this level of investment in TRL 9, when you scramble all your money, you promote and you create the production line. Here you have an important level of risk you have to assume when you invest. Okay, so the best thing for a technology transfer officer is to promote the technology here, the majority of the technology getting out from laboratories are proof of concepts, but you will not perform well the tech transfer process unless if you think yourself like a business angel, why should I invest here? To whom I will sell here? To whom I will exit financially here? What venture capital? What money I will be able to accept here when I invest this? Okay, if you think like this, you will understand the next actors, because until here you deal with your colleagues, which are scientists. From here, you will deal with startuppers, with large industrials, or with small and medium enterprise. And they are wired different. They are not thinking like your colleagues. And I will say your job is to marry these guys together. And they hate each other. And this is your job, to make them working together. If you don't understand how are they thinking, both sides, you will not be able to make an agreement of tech transfer signed and performed well in order to reach the level of selling with success and getting money. So if you want to write a success story in tech transfer, at this stage, you need already to understand all the actors and all their motivation and all their behaviors in assuming risk, including financial, in assuming that they will be able here to discuss with the scientists and understand each other. That's why you need dedicated structures for collaborative tools. And this is generally set it up in technology transfer office or even incubators if you are dealing with startups, okay? And I will showcase to you afterwards an important tool, because all the analyses we were made based on technology readiness level, and I will introduce to you another scale that I have the chance, I will say, and the honor to author, the demand readiness level, in order to understand how demand is working together with the offer, technological offer in a way. The tech transfer officer, it's also a commercial, needing to understand the demand and needing to understand the offer from technological point of view. What I push here, I highlighted what in economy we call asymmetries, differences. You have a different, okay? And this information, transactional asymmetry of information, got a Nobel Prize to Stiglitz, who authored this concept. And I complete this theory, and I had the chance to be acknowledged and congratulated by Joseph Stiglitz himself when I publish a book with this, because I see that the asymmetry is not only based on information, it's a technology based on capability. As I mentioned to you, you have a hole here between small and medium enterprise and laboratory. You have an asymmetry on risk based on time to market and cost. Tell me here, when you sign an agreement here, what is the risk from a researcher, from a scientist, and what is the risk from a boss of a small and medium enterprise who's paying? You understand? That's definitely all other type of risk. But also identified here a very distinct mindset. The entrepreneur, workmanship versus predator is not my word. is an economist called Veblen. He is the father of the institutional in economy. He postulates that the most difficult rule to overpass are the rules which are not written, are the rules you could not do this. Why? Where is written? Where is forbidden? Nowhere, but that's the practice, you know. And this is occurring due to the fact that as humans, we only have two types of instincts: the workmanship, the creator, and the predator, the opportunist. Well, these two guys are treating each other, if you let them alone, as jerks or nerds, or they are disconsidering themselves. And this is your job as technology transfer officer, to compensate these asymmetries, to translate between the two types of worlds, of cultures, and so on. Okay, your job is to compensate this asymmetry. Now you know the asymmetries, it's easy. Make them working together and you will be successful. I will prolongate the curves. Okay, these are the revenues expected curves. Yeah, here. These are the expenditures with production, with sales, and so on. And we hope all to get in positive. And we all hope that the positive will be bigger than the negative. If not, you have not a return on investment, and you will not innovate more. Here, we discover that we need collaborative tools like transfer offices towards SMEs, incubators, which is also the incubation activity of a startup. It's also linked to the tech transfer office. When you work with startups, when you work with SMEs, it's simply compensating asymmetries. In incubators, it's not only compensating asymmetries, is qualifying the entrepreneur and building the entrepreneurial team, okay? But also you need here business angels and money from public from time to time. That's why you have some grants, operating instruments like Transition for European Innovation Council in compensating with equity gap. Here we've seen that it's already need for more money, which is brought here by venture capital Series A. Generally, they are half funded by public money too, in private-public partnership. And there, when you have the commercial scale-up, they are operating in the most developed countries from innovation point of view, the so-called scale-up accelerating, which are helping the entrepreneurs to cross the chasm. It is a book also called Crossing the Chasm, if you want to learn more. And this is the activity which will set up here the level of sales very high or very low. Because generally everybody hopes to this kind of curves where the sales are booming, but the real life is bringing you a very disturbed curve. And here you need to change the mind of the entrepreneur from a launcher to a manager. And that's generally the venture capital are changing the CEOs of the startups here. Exactly here. And again, why I'm telling you all this, because I'm describing you how the things are happening inside the business value chain you choose to transfer the technology to. And again, it is your job to have wide open eyes, because this is the economics. This is where the transferred technology will operate. And it is not the job of the scientist to do this. It's the job of the industrial partner to do this. But the guy who's putting together the scientist with the industrial need to understand both sides, so need to understand both activities. If not, you will not be able to negotiate very well the tech transfer agreement, which is your job. How to do it? You have here some gates, how to get into. If you are in 1 or in 2 or 3, if you are in 1, so the technology is integral 2, is just getting out. Well, you need to screen for applied research teams within the appropriate domains, and you need to create a network of partners. When I mean you need to create a network of partners in applied research, I'm sorry, it's not the job of the scientific director of a laboratory. It is also the job of the tech transfer officer. Why? Because there you will get in consortia, there you will bring R&D projects to your scientists. There you will sell their capacity of performing good applied research. So there you will act as commercial by selling R&D. So that's why you need to don't stay alone. You need to be part of a network of partners performing applied research. 2, the gate 2. You already have results from applied R&D. Well, now it's your other hat. You are the commercial. You need to look for corporations based on their strategic roadmaps, which are generally public. So ask yourself, as tech transfer officer, how many strategic roadmaps do you know from existing corporations? Well, you need to promote the competencies you have to them. And additionally, some of you are doing commercial brochures from, I don't know, University Babeș-Bolyai or other universities. Okay, do you have economic intelligence? Do you know the strategic roadmaps of, let's say, Continental Siemens, but it could also be pharma, or they are existing big companies which are publicly disclosing their strategic technological roadmaps. Do you know them? Do you know how to cross this with your technology offers? Do you know which are your good researchers in what they are good? How you promote them if you don't have a technology offer catalog, which is online, consultable? Or if you are not aggressively trying to sell them to the guys which wrote the strategic roadmaps of the big companies. 3, you have already proof of concepts. Well, you need already to search for entrepreneurs or incubators to promote the proof of concepts your scientist colleagues achieved. And the question is, do you have a network of incubators? Do you have proof of concept catalogs? Do you have showrooms showcasing the proof of concept with wires, things like that? And additionally, do you have a spin-off charter providing a legal frame to a scientist which want to create a startup? These are questions. Questions and instruments that you need to create if you don't have it yet. All the performance technology transfer offices possess everything which is written in REG. That's a guide for how to perform tech transfer. So create a network of partners for applied R&D. have intensive economic intelligence activity by simply knowing the strategic roadmaps of the corporates in various markets. Create a technology offer catalog on competencies which you have to sell. Do you have a network of incubators? Do you have a proof of concept catalog? Do you have showrooms? Do you have a spin-off charter? Do you have a network of program R&D managers from corporations? These are your clients. Do you know them? Do you have dinners with them? Do you play golf with them? I don't know how many R&D directors from corporations do you know personally? You don't know nobody? Well, I will say you need to reinforce your skills as tech transfer officer. You know a lot, that's good. Promote your achievements, your colleagues' achievements from your laboratory to them, okay? You have showrooms and so on. Additionally, in 5, you already achieved the technology demonstrator. Search actively for technology adopting SMEs. There are some SMEs around you in your regions which are eager to innovate, to take more competencies, to take technology transfer, facilitate them the job. If you already reach this, you don't need to fill anymore the gap, just plug and play. And for doing this, what I did successfully in ONERA, I create and I animate around ONERA a small media enterprise innovation club. We see each other since each 3 months. We had a workshop together. We listen to the scientists of ONERA promoting their new findings. We also had restrictive public workshops where SMEs start to share with him his needs in technology and so on. Okay, all these activities are activities and instruments for technology transfer performance officers. You need to create it if you don't have it. Okay, move forward. Well, all the analysis we made it based on technology readiness level scale. Why? Is the GVAL, is the Bible of technology transfer officer, of innovation executives, on financials investing in innovation. Everybody is asking to you, what is your technology readiness level? Apply for this kind of grants, okay? But the idea is, even the guy who's expressing a demand, it's asking you, what is technology readiness level? They start with the word technology. They start with the offer, not with the demand. And first of all, when you have to speak with R&D director for corporations, when you try to promote to him a new proof of concept successfully developed by your scientist colleagues, when he's asking to you what is the TRL level, answer to him, for what need do you envisage this? Because he is your customer. He needs to express the need before listening to your offer, because you need to adapt your speech based on the need he will express. Don't let him ask from your offer before him expressing his needs. That's why I would say this is the commercial part of being technology transfer officer. The good commercial is not the one who's promoting. The good commercial is the one who's listening the client, okay? 80% of a sale process is listening the customer voice. Or on the market, we only have as a tool the technology readiness level. So it was fun because I was the only European representing France with my Romanian accent at the Technology Transfer Society annual meeting. It's a think tank organization where there are a lot of economists doing research in economy transfer, and nobody from Europe were there just to understand how the technology transfer activities perceived in Europe in comparison with the States. And they were discussing about how to promote license, and I said to them, guys, I think that you are too much oriented in technological push approach to innovate. I think you also need to listen to the small and medium enterprise clusters around you about their needs, about strategic roadmaps, technological roadmaps defined by the big fellows. And the guy said, interesting, Florin. Okay, put something in right. And I was sitting in my office 8 o'clock in the afternoon when everybody let me alone and I could think on myself and what I'm doing in my life and professionally, I mean. And I was saying, God damn, Florin, you lost an occasion to shut up your big mouth because now you are getting back in France with a job to be done. You engage yourself to the others, you give an idea and say, great, put something in right for us. And I tried to measure, at that time I was already signing 70 license agreement in various domains, starting from aerospace technology, and you will see that we also do biomedical prostheses based on powder metallurgy. And I said to myself, let's try to measure at least at what technology readiness level ONERA it's transferring its technologies. So I said 70 cases is not an important statistics, but it is still something very good. And I put technology readiness level and I put all the agreements, hoping that I will have at least a Gaussian curve to discover that I'm transferring technology, I don't know, somewhere. Nope, it was not possible. I have a cloud of points and I understood that ONERA is transferring technology at each stage of development of technology in equal parts. And then I was written on the board, I said, technology push, market pull, technology readiness level, big question. I said, come on, is my background of physicist in English, being physicist at origin, even in Olympic team of Romania for less than 18 years old in 87, long time ago. Normally, statistically, quarter of you were even not born. I said to myself, Florin, you are stupid. You are trying to measure a pressure with a thermometer. It looks like a thermometer, the technology readiness level. But say, I need a tool to measure the market readiness. And I was looking on Google for market readiness level, and I found it was developed by Boston Consulting Group, one of the leading 5 in consultancy in the world. But they measure the degree of acceptance from a market for a new product existing. So it was after the TRL 9. I say, it's not this what I want. I want to measure the maturity of the need, not the maturity of the market. And I was looking for.
Так, ну вже відбій тривоги.
And I didn't found it. They were not existing. Tool to measure the maturity of the expression of a need. Then I created it. it took me only a half an hour working through analogy on opposite directions. On the right, you have the technology readiness level redefined from the corner right down, starting with 1 and going up to 9, okay? And then I start to complete the levels from demand readiness level point of view. The equivalent of fundamental research is it's something missing. If you even don't have the occurrence of a feeling that something is missing in the market, there is no need. You will never transfer technology because everything is perfect, okay? Second, remember on TRL, it's applied research. I know what I want. The same. Second, identification of a specific need. I know what I need. Third, identify and I know exactly, in order to fulfill this need, what are the functionalities I want. I'm in a trekking, I'm at 2,000 meters altitude. I want to share this with friends and my darling. How to share this? Well, I have a phone and I'm transferring images in real time. Whoa, I need a satellite connection because I don't have 4G. Okay, so what I expect from my product? Register sounds, register image, transmit image in real time, or when I will get back in the resort and I have 4G connection, I could transfer it. Good. So I already move in the demand readiness level 4, where I quantify the expected functionalities, I prioritize them, and I'm telling I want to communicate what I registered. So registration, communications, expected functionalities, okay? But priority, I want to be able to register in any condition, and I want to communicate not in any condition because it's too expensive to call through satellite and transfer some videos. But at least when I'm getting back and I have a 4G connection, okay? So now in 4, I have the equivalent of the proof of concept, but from economic point of view, from commercial point of view. I know that if I will have this, I could sell it. I quantify the need, I deduce the expected functionalities, and I prioritize them. Now I need to build it, okay? Who is able to build this? First of all, I need somebody who has a systemic approach. I need somebody able to translate the expected functionalities in capabilities needed to build a response, okay? So it's time in 5 to empower somebody who will lead the project, the entrepreneur or the intrapreneur. And this is where you need to qualify the skills of entrepreneur. Who is the guy who will handle the project? Okay, that's important because remember, the best technology values nothing without the right carrier into the market. It's here where you empower the right carrier. He will be able, in demand readiness level 6, to translate the expected functionalities in needed capabilities to build the response. In 7, he will break down the capabilities in competencies, abilities, and resources. In 8, he will even identify the experts possessing the competencies. And in 9, he will build the adapted answer to the expressed need on the market. Ta-da! We finish the demand readiness level definition. Great. We had technology readiness level, we had demand readiness level. We start to have a kind of procedure on operating this meeting point between technological offer with expression of a need. Okay, what means market? What means transaction? An offer meet a demand. Done. Okay. I've been able to identify that ONERA is transferring technologies everywhere at each level, but with the condition that the sum is superior to 9. You'll say, obvious, Florin, the demand meets the right offer at the right timing. Great, excellent. That's why I had 150 citations in less than 6 months as soon as I published this paper. Additionally, demo readiness level, together with technology readiness level, if you put it in 2D, it becomes an innovation process readiness diagram, which is used by European Commission now as called innovation radar to evaluate all the innovation programs, projects submitted and financed by European Union. Okay, so that's why I'm also innovation radar expert, including starting from very low TRL in Pathfinder projects or Horizon or things like that. So I don't know what I did to deserve this, but the innovation radar and the innovation diagrams used by European Union when financing R&D and innovation were inspired by these two fellows there, Philippe Richard, which was a friend of me, and I was sharing with him some ideas, and myself. I'm quite very proud, and I'm, let's say, sharing all this with you as a guide of technology transfer. It's a very, very noble job, but very complex. And you will live through hits you will receive because you will be the bad guy for the both sides, scientists as well, industrials. But you will survive from the smiles on their faces when it will gonna work. So if you want to have more smiles, you need to be aware to everything I show you, to understand everything from all the actors in order to be able to implement these activities through the diagram. So now, the diagram is very complex, you see, so I will go slowly. In each bubble, I pointed in blue activities related to the exploitation actor, the adopter of technology, in red activities related to the laboratory, and the technology transfer officer need to be aware to all of them. With double lines, you will have transactions. In simple lines, you will have to-do activities, okay? So, yeah, I've seen, yeah, Martin, I've seen he posted on the chat. Yeah, it's one of the paper. It's a lot of variants. And this tool is also used by business angel and by venture capitalists to invest in projects. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't become rich by exploiting this. I was not so good in transferring this technology to the market because I was offering it for free to everybody through a publication. Well, you could not patent the method, by the way, but I could keep it secretly and make a lot of money by consultancy. But I prefer to output this in order to allow to others to do performance technology transfer, performance innovation, just in order to leave all of us in a better world. let's try to introduce some of the actions. So imagine you are in the corner left up. You assess and you evaluate your demand readiness level as being very high. So you identify the product, you identify the functionalities expected, you identify the capabilities, you even identify the experts possesses the competencies able to fulfill the answer, and you discover that the technology do not exist. The technology is only at the research level. Okay, who could you be? Only coming from industry. No scientists are doing this kind of thinking in order to be able to identify an expected need in the market, expected functionalities, defining the product, and there to discover that the technology is not existing. So you are a commercial director generally or a CEO in a company. And you discover that your DRL is more than 6 and the technology do not exist. Ta-da! What you are doing? You are asking to your scientists to develop. So you are paying for internal research and technology. Or if you don't have experts, it could, sometimes you need a very high level of expertise. And inside your corporate research centers, the guys are telling you, we cannot develop such a thing. We really need disruptive technologies. But I think this guy from Fraunhofer Institute is able to perform this for us. Well, you will outsource the R&D. You will pay the laboratory of Fraunhofer with some money. And you will tell them, yeah, but I came with the idea, so please, the IP will be mine. Or at least it will be exclusively mine. So you have only 2 options. Either you launch an internal R&D program, either you launch an external outsourced R&D program with IP control. Okay? So when these guys are coming to you as tech transfer officers to negotiate an R&D contract with your particular expert, Professor Breitling, I don't know, don't be surprised. They made already this analysis inside their company. So in order to don't be surprised by them, you need to be aware about the competencies you need and ask them about the needs, why they are developing this. And there you will be able to understand and to negotiate a fair play-based license agreement. What means what? Okay, you have the IP exclusivity in your domain of market, guys. I understand, I fully understand. But if I'm able to create such a patent, which will create a competitive advantage for you in your market and you are paying for, I think this is a generic technology, a source technology, which could go in other domains. What we are doing with other domains. And don't accept an answer for them, no, I don't want the technology going in other domains, because this is not your job as university. Your job as university is to create technological progress in all the society. So you have to tell them, we have a problem, because as a university, as a Fraunhofer Institute, I'm missioned to create technical progress in other domains too. So I'm offering to you, do you want to go for other domains? No. So let me have the right to license in other domains which are not making competition to you. And of course, we could share the royalties. They could not forbid you this, okay? So by the way, how to do a good license agreement, that's also at least 3 hours more of workshop of technology. So that's why when I was speaking with Diana in saying, let's make a workshop on a guide of technology transfer, I was telling them, yeah, I need at least 3 weeks of teaching them each details, each things even don't give to you all I say, all I know, and all I know, it's peanuts in comparison with what you need to know as tech transfer officer. It's a job where you will learn daily by working, by practicing, okay? And by the way, how many of you are reaching the annual Congress of Autumn? It's AUTM, Association of University Technology Managers in the United States. You see the difference? They even don't call themselves technology transfer officer. They are calling themselves technology managers, but they are the TTOs for all the 160 universities in the United States of America, and they have almost 3 days of Congress just to share new best practice occurring here, with at least 10 sessions in parallel all the time. So, and when you see Autumn Compendium edited per year, it's 1,000 pages new book with new best practice in tech transfer. So I only could recommend you to participate at least once in your life to understand what means technology transfer and how diverse is the domain and the beauty of this job. Yeah. So we need, unfortunately, to focus in only 3 hours, and in 3 hours, I only could create in your mind awareness about the beauty of this job and some guidelines where you need to look, you need to understand things. On the right side, well, it's time for you to ask yourself, what the hell are you doing there? Which means what? You scramble a lot of money, you achieve a technology demonstrator, and you even don't know what are the functionalities of a new product expected into a market. Come on, who gives you the money to reach this level of technology with not knowing at all about the application? It could happen. You maybe work for, let's say, developing an autonomous car, and the guys don't want your technology because they think that they have a better one. Okay. What about UAVs in aerospace? Maybe your technology is better for them. So just to mention to you, if you are reaching the TRL 6 and you have no clues about an existing defined functionalities, quantified, and capabilities, you know nothing about the product, about the application. It's weird. It's weird. Generally, the guy who decides to invest in such a project is losing his job. But if, in order to be a rescuer for them, well, you need to search for cross application. You need to go on other markets, and also you could go to promote the IP created on the IP market. Hey guys, I have a patent, who want to buy it? Who want a license? There are existing instruments on providing things like tech platforms, like patent trolls, like let's say innovation matching platforms, and so on. So these are the 2 activities which could save your life in a way. Go for more. On the DRL level between 3 and 6, you have the functionalities identified, but you didn't identify the capabilities. In order to advance as an exploitation actor, you need to make a good business plan and a business model for the new expected products and services in order to define the competitive advantages expected from the technology. And as a tech transfer officer, you need to create all them, because you are trying to sell to them this. You are in red and they are in blue, the industrials. You need to promote to them a SWOT analysis, positioning the technology into the market and clearly demonstrating the competitive advantage that the technology will create, will induce in the mangrove forest of distribution value, specifically to their branch or root. Okay? This is activity you could create and you could work on. On the other side, you have a lab demonstrator, you don't have the field demonstrator, but again, you don't know nothing about applications. Well, you need to search for applications and sales. You need to search for partners and you need to identify applications, first of all. How to identify applications? Well, put some keywords in the database of patents. Put the same keywords that your technology, and you will see the patents appearing. And from the patents, you will see the appliance. Who are the applicants of the patents? Then you will see Toyota or General Motors or whatever. You will have ideas who are looking for the same type of keywords in technology. So this will be your industrial partners. Analyze their patents. Discover that your patents, your ideas are better than them. I'm speaking about patents because you already reached the TRL 3.4. And I remind you, the IP need to be protected previous to the 3.4. If you don't have IP, it's huge. It's a problem. Okay? And then go to see them and propose them collaborative R&D in order to develop further your technology. Okay? Well, we don't have time to insist much more on this, but yeah, here, no functionality is expected, no technology demonstrated even in lab. Well, is non-competitive. It's research and technology fundamental. Don't lose your time there. As technology transfer officer, maybe just try to have a catalog of capacities in R&D. A list of expertise you could provide, okay? And there you could promote this catalog of competencies. But when you are a little bit higher in the both sides, this is the place to establish consortium with industries. Collaborative R&D, sign agreements on this. It is still a tech transfer activity. An R&D project with an industrial, it's already a tech transfer, okay? And by the way, as technology transfer officer or as a C-level officer in a laboratory or a rector or a dean of a faculty or a head of a department of research, the KPIs I will introduce to measure the performance of my technology transfer officer will be how many collaborative R&D you signed this year. Of course, how many brochures and catalogs you have made. But how many, the last indicator is how many collaborative R&D you have signed, how many licenses you have signed, how many startups you have signed, how many patents you published, you disclosed. And at the end of the day, after 3-4 years of working as a tech transfer officer, how many jobs you have created based on the technologies discovered by your scientist colleagues and transfer to your industrials that you shook hands and negotiate agreements. Because this is the last end. Jobs in technology created in society, you contribute to the scientific and technological progress of the society you are living in. Okay? Then, well, that's also very interesting cases. You have here down in the middle on the right, good technologies. You already identify functionalities and capabilities. You have seen already the line are double because you are not alone anymore. Why? Somebody wants these products already, and then or you decide to launch a startup by spin-off, or you provide a license and you sign a license agreement. If the technology is not yet demonstrated on the field, but the demand readiness level is very high, and is very high because an industrial made this assessment, well, he will invest in tech demonstration under exclusive license or IP ownership from you as a laboratory, okay? We could go further. Here is the place to co-develop under risk-sharing agreements. Risk-sharing agreements. I'm happy to tell you that I have the draft of a risk-sharing and benefit-sharing agreement. I was the first one to introduce it in a public establishment in France, and it became the standard used by all the Carnot institutes. And by the way, I didn't develop this based on my knowledge because I'm not jurist and legal neither. I didn't develop this because I convinced my legal affairs director to work with me on this. I developed this because I hired an apprentice, a young apprentice jurist, and I vaccinated him with innovation vibe and go for innovation. And I tell him, I need an agreement and a contract valid commercially to work with small and medium enterprise, which could not pay me. But I have a president who wants to invest if the business case is a good one, and I'm granting him with my head on the guillotine that if I'm investing 100,000 euro here, I will bring him more based on quasi-royalties because they are not royalties. So just to tell you, as technology transfer officer, maybe you should innovate, including in contractual practices. And I'm very happy about this because now France is using this everywhere. And I think maybe due to this, they also ordered me as Chevalier de l'Ordre National du Mérite in France, based on my contribution to how to innovate better and how to make progress, okay? And of course, you have the last one here. Ta-da! You discover that so you made your demand readiness level assessment, and you need this, and you need this in order to introduce a new product into the market, and you discover that technology is already existing. Wow, 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 wow. So you intend to develop a new product, and you discover that technology is existing. Put yourself for a few seconds in the head of these guys from industry, which are sure that he has the first ever product proposed into his market, but he discovered technology is existing. Lucky you, the technology is not existing in hands of a competitor. It's existing on other domain. So I'm taking the algorithms for autonomous car and I'm injecting it in my autonomous VTOL UAV, which will make autonomous helicopters to transport through aerial taxis. Good. You propose a venture to Renault or to Tesla, and you will create a flying object which is autonomous. It's good. You propose a venture. You take a license and so on. But, sorry, I have to leave. Good, Christian. We have 10 minutes more and we could eat also. The idea is, if you find the technology in the hands of your competitor, well, there you need to negotiate very tough with you, but it's not your job as technology transfer officer. But the respective industrial will need to offer some distribution, commercial channels, some promotional activities, or he could pay some millions to have the access to the technology, or he could threaten the other, okay, I'm bigger than you, I will have 2 years delay, but in 2 years I'm able to put a competition against you, a new car, or la la la, so I could scrabble you, or we are making a venture now. okay? But that's the activities which will be yours as tech transfer officer when you are looking to this diagram. So I'm giving you the diagram and your life will be inside. You will live between TRL1 to TRL6, and you will live between TRL1 to TRL6 as tech transfer officer, but you need to understand the others, okay? Again, good luck for your job. First sales limits, you could sell there. I need to go faster because we still have 8 minutes. Here there are two diagonals, very important. On the left, right, left up, you have market pool projects. On the right low, you have technology push projects. On the left low corner, you have possibility to work alone. On the right upper corner, you are two. It's a transactional based process of innovation. Some examples from ONERA. I mentioned to you Leosper. We measured the vortexes here in order to prove to the Americans that the Airbus 380 is creating less vortexes than the Boeing 747. And when the entrepreneur, Alexandre Sauvage, seen our LiDARs measuring this, he asked us to transform the LiDAR in measuring winds, and he promoted the wind cube, and they were measuring windmill potentials and installation of windmills. They become world leader. 20 million turnovers, 120 people working for them in less than 3 years. And then they get back and proposing surveillance of the runaway, which is here by Optal as in infrared signatures, but providing also observation of runaways for taking off or landing when you have cost-sharing winds and launch alerts to the pilots and correct the angle of landing. I could mention to you also POTIP. POTIP, it's a very interesting story. We developed powder metallurgy for Safran in order to help them to build better disc and blisk for the turbojet engines. And we were the master of controlling the porosity. And the doctor came to see us. Okay, if you tell me that I was promoting ONERA, we are the god of technologies. We could develop technologies on demand for everybody. So there in the hall, when I was doing such an event, a doctor came to see us. I'm surgeon. You go, whoa, 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 nice, interesting job. You're a surgeon. I'm trying to reconstruct bones from accidents, from scooters and motorcycles, because I have a lady who has no more mandibula. So could you provide for me a porous structure in titanium where the bone could reconstruct himself? I said, well, I didn't understood your need. I need a structure with controlled porosity, with open porosity for more than 60%, but the pores need to be bigger than 100 microns and less than 1 millimeter. If not, the bone could not go up and penetrate this. Sure, okay, I think we could do it for him. So he did it. And then he moved to us and he said, we have a colleague which is operating larynxotomy for the cancer of neck. So could you build this, but with other porosity, in order for him to put the remaining healthy trachea, and the trachea successfully colonize this porous titanium biomedical prosthesis. The guy will gonna beep in all the airports in the world because he has a metallic siding, but he has a brand new larynx with no rejection because it is his own trachea who colonized the metallic skeleton, Now they are using nitinol vocal cords. He will speak like Darth Vader, but he will speak, and so on. We had transfer in windmills, capacitive sensors, how to manufacture advanced ceramics with ultrasound machining. Adaptive optics from space was going to eyes in order to control the turbulence inside the liquid in the eyes. And we are creating now virtual retina for the degenerescence of retina. We know how to capture, I'm speaking we like I'm still being ONERA, but 20 years of work with them. So by the way, here we transfer something to CECAPEM. And finally, nowadays I'm working for a group who owns CECAPEM as Chief Science Officer. By the way, we made autonomous landing algorithms for UAVs. That you have a boat who's moving with 4 meters during the waves. How could you land autonomously? Think. But this was used with to land with a UAV, a chopper UAV. He was bought by Naval Group. Our internet connection is unstable. No, that's okay. If you want to read, you will have here a good biography to be written. If you want to get more in details with all what I present to you, don't hesitate to have question and answer after 1 hour, because we need to eat. So you have here Dent Associates. They are advising venture capital, and they create a white paper. They were the first to observe the demand readiness level importance together with the technology readiness level. This is about the role. This is about the role of innovation campuses and technology transfer in the economic development regional. Mankin's original paper describing technology readiness level. Some of my papers, Stiglitz, of course, Veblen, when I spoke about the Institute of War Machine. The theory of industrial clusters like Cluj IT, it's a very old theory, okay? The most advanced practices, the most advanced, let's say, model in innovation, I will recommend you, is Professor Xu from Tsinghua University, wrote it in the Journal of Technology Transfer. Is not more open innovation model, it's called total innovation management. He introduced the notions of 3 totalities: all individuals, all stakeholders, all domain, time, spaces, markets, okay? And he said that your job as an innovation practitioner is to create bridges intra and inter totalities. So 3 totalities. Professor Xu, I think I finished. Thank you for 3 hours attention. This is my private email. You could write to me. Again, the project is funded through the Interreg Danube region, co-founded by European Union, and I was speaking as a Cluj IT Cluster Innovation Manager. Good. So if you have questions, I'm proposing you to see each other starting with 1 hour from now. Yeah, and I will be open for 2 hours if the questions will flow. If not, we see each other, we speak. You could share feedback from the workshop, more questioning about more in details. This workshop will be stated through a guide of tech transfer written, what is the draft is already written. Well, I put whatever I share with you through the diaporama, I put it in right, everything too. Maybe some things I was forgetting it. So go for suggestions. I put more examples on tools. I was speaking there about something that we had no time to speak here, is the not invented here syndrome. So when you will approach an R&D director for a corporation and you're proposing a competency or a proof of concept, the guy will be enchanted and he will say, let me ask my experts about this new technology. Never let him alone, because this is a mistake that all the R&D directors for corporations are making it, are asking their expert about your new proposed technology. And they are inducing the syndrome called not invented here. Their experts will refuse your incoming technology from outside, because if it is what you want, boss, I could develop it better for you. I'm your expert, you pay me. So I get some hints how to overcome this kind of syndrome and bring in the experts from industry in collaboration with your experts you are representing from your university. Yes, some examples like this will be highlighted in the guide. We could discuss a lot about this. And I was asking through Diana, who sent towards all the member community, she was asking for examples of success stories that it could be described inside the guide for tech transfer. So if you want to highlight one of your success story, please don't hesitate. Yes. What do you think? Is a TT officer and a technology broker the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. Technology broker, it's only a small part of the technology transfer officer. It's one of the activities, of course. The technology transfer officer need to be a broker he need to be a commercial, proposing a new technology, but it's not only this. So I would say that's why they are not the same, because technology broker, it's only a small part of the activity of the technology transfer officer. Yep. So see you in 1 hour at sharp, 3 o'clock Romania, 2 o'clock Central European time.
Yes, I'll leave the link open.
We leave all this and we start to eat also and to drink some water. Chat. There are some other questions in the chat, or?
There is
Thank you, Sergey.
Yeah, there is a question regarding the Q&A session. Will it also be recorded and available? I will, if you intend to showcase one of your cases and have some ideas for me, we could stop the registration at that moment. Okay? So if not, it will be better to be shared, because maybe it will be a lot of questions with common interest. So common interest answer too. But if it is particularly, you have just to mention, please stop the registration. We stop, we listen. I'm trying to answer. I'm trying to do my best. I don't promise I will have the answer. As I mentioned to you, I don't know everything neither. And then we restart for the registration for common interest question. Yes. We could do this, Diana? Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Have a good meal. Brilliant lecture. Thank you, Dimitro. Sergey. From
Ukraine.
Oh, okay. Which town?
Thank you. Normally, electricity is present. It's life is good.
Yeah, we forgot how convenient is the life when we have all the amenities, and when we don't have it, there we remember how difficult it is without technology. So what is your attitude to revenue planning in a presentation when the technology is still at TRL3?
I think it's waste of time.
Definitely, but depending with whom you are speaking. If you are speaking with investor, he will not like a presentation without credible return on innovation. Okay? So an investor, if you are looking for money, you have to present him money. He barely understands the technology. He wants to understand the impact of the technology. So if you are not ready to present feasible business plan, speak at least about the competitive advantage that the technology will create. And tell him, I'm not so good in numbers. I need help with you working together in how much we will gonna win. Because I'm not good in this, not so good like you, but definitely you could not avoid speaking about money when you ask for €1.
As for me, the total addressable market is only one adjustable figures for TRL3, because only another expectation is like dreams.
Sergey, it is not only for TRL3, it is valid for any TRL, because it's like a crystal bubble where you are guessing numbers. Let me tell you, when a startupper is discussing with a business angel or with a venture capital, both know that they are just numbers. He simply wants to measure the ability of the carrier of the technology to be open to the market and marketing aspects. He wants to see what is your level, and at the end, he's interested, he's telling you, okay, we're going to make a deal, or, okay, we're going to make a deal, but I will invest only if you hire this person as commercial director.
Yeah, commercial director in team is necessary. I understand, it's very clear. But sophisticated investors should understand that these prospects is only the prospects, and sometimes no, every time is more than in real time.
Sergey, you mentioned sophisticated. Well, I would say good. Good investors have the ability to go beyond the numbers and to see the technology and the impact of the technology, okay? And he has his own experts in marketing, things like that. But he wants to qualify the team, if it is this team which will carry up to lead the TRL9 and it will get the certification, which of them will work on technology and which of them will need complementary skills to be trained to go for the business also, or accept to complete the team, okay? But in a normal world, this job is the job of the incubators. The incubator has the mission to propose a good startup on solid basis with a good team. Yes. I will also say from what I've seen, there are no sophisticated investors in Europe. They are not like this. In America, you could find, in Israel, you could find, in Singapore, you could find, in South Korea, you could find. And of course, there are some exceptions at Karolinskaya in Sweden, some exception in Germany, and of course in London. But at least in France, forget about it. Everybody will ask, in TRL3, you want me to invest, show me how much money I will win. And he will believe what you are telling to him if you are convincible as a person. And by the way, this is not fair game at all, because these numbers are bullshit. Because when you present numbers in TRL3, it's bullshit.
Good.
They are simply measuring your capacity to defend a business case.
Yes, I understand. But I think it's very problem now, because I saw many, I saw high presentation when the quality of presentation more than quality of invention.
I know. The pitches are made mostly on TAM, SAM, SOM. You know, total addressable market, serviceable addressable market, serviceable obtainable market, and the financials guys are only wired to listen to this. It's the game in Europe, unfortunately. It's like a playing theater. Just simply act like an actor. In fact, you want their money.
Yeah, that's why we are working for make better the presentation and projects when they have a good idea, but they can't make the good presentation or other documents for presenting.
Yeah, I know. They need to be added by marketing professionals in order to at least to understand what are the market they address and how much money are in the market, and then make reasonable assumption. I will take 10% or I will take 5% of the market because I have this competitive advantage. And in fact, it's simply a matter of how credible you are when you expose the numbers. Okay. I see we have another question from Jan.
Hello, Florin.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Do you see me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for the presentation. It was very good, actually. One can see that you're very experienced because you can do synthesis. You can synthesize what your experience. Yeah. So very valuable presentation for me. I'm heading the tech transfer office at the Czech Technical University for basically below 2 years now. I used to be a startup entrepreneur and angel investor. And my question is to you, going back to this equity gap that you presented in one of the slides. We have an intention, it's actually more a plan already than intention, to fundraise university funds of patient capital going upstream along the TRL line, basically starting with proof of concepts because they are a bit de-risked and smaller tickets, but eventually going even upstream into R&D, more into the R&D. Have you, in your practice, apart from US universities with their endowments, which where we see a different purpose. Yeah, our purpose is investment in R&D, exactly to bridge the gap. Did you, in your long-term practice, did you come across in some, attempts or scenarios which of universities or anybody else trying to do the same? The reason I'm asking also is we are now very down into, for example, selection of projects. For the proof of concept funding. It is about value proposition to the contributors. We call them contributors because there is not a clear investment profile. It goes along the axes which you have, and the less mature it is, the higher the risk, and the less you can promise, quote unquote, a return. Yeah. So my question is, you're a globetrotter, so to say. Yeah. Have you seen something similar?
The answer is not only yes, it's I built something similar. I built subsidiary of ONERA, which is called ONERA Tech. It was a dedicated structure to perform tech transfer and also to invest in projects. Finally, it didn't get up because of a veto of the French army. Yeah, it was the French army who cut everything. Because at the beginning they allowed us to build such a subsidiary. I was asking for 5 million euro to launch the venture, and it was simply asking to us that we need to find the money from private, and we need to keep the control from ONERA. So ONERA had to have 51% at least shares. Okay. Because ONERA is under the supervision and the tutorate of the French General Delegation of the Army. Okay? And when I found the money, with the condition of keeping the exclusivity, they said, no, we will not transfer technology from militaries unless inside ONERA. But I had to raise money, so I found the 5 million in private, and I negotiate with them. They accepted to put only 49% for 5 million. Because I was preparing, I had the chance to have 1.2 million euro from my president, who asked me to invest in specific cases of technology transfer, and after 3 years, I brought him back 2.5 million. So it was working. And then the president starts to say, I'm not a bank, I'm asking you to make a specific dedicated vehicle, so go for ONERA Tech. And after 2 years more, ONERA Tech was broken by the French army veto. But one thing I found, I could tune again the business model of such an operating structure when you invest in TRL2, TRL3, and when you invest in TRL6. Let me tell you something. You are losing money if you are not investing at least 2/3 of the money in market pool projects with existing small and medium enterprises. So 1/3 of the investment in technological push in order to eventually create disruptions. But when it's working, you will have 10 times more money back. But the probability of success of technology push it's at least 3 times lower than the probability of success in market pool. But the market pool individually cases are much more probable to bring money back, but the return on investment on market pool in average, it's lower. It's 15% per year. In technology push, when it's working, it's bringing you 70% return on investment, but only for the one who's working. And it's not working more than 1 by 5. So the 4 times out of 5, when you push money in technology push, you are losing your money. In order to compensate this loss of money, the one who's performing very well is not sufficient to compensate the losing of the money for the other 4. So you need to invest at least 60% of the money in market pool approach, where the success ratio is 4 out of 5 projects, but bringing only 50% in average. So when you tune this, you will discover that this kind of technology transfer with a double head of business angel investment, it could work, it could be beneficial, but only if 2/3 of the projects are market pool.
Okay, that's very valuable.
And by the way, if you heard about the Society for Acceleration of the Technology Transfer in France, these were set up based on this business model I provide to the government, where I've been part of the commission of 5 guys which were tuning the business model for the 14 subsidized SATT, which were created along France. And all the SATT which are not operating in market pool are losing money. Why? Even in States, a technology transfer office is losing money, excepting the 15 happy few, which are winning money based on drugs, molecules, or based on telecommunication standards. All the other activities are losing money if you don't have a critical mass of technology production. So if you don't have if you don't represent at least 10,000 scientists and at least 1,000 patents per year, you could not become beneficiary in technology push. You need to finance market pool. Sorry to disappoint you and to provide probably information which is broken your dreams of being technology push.
No. It's actually the proof of concept money. Yes. Is it has to have a clear end to it. So ideally a customer or a partner. So I did not use your vocabulary of tech push, but and tech pool, but it's definitely more tech pool.
No, it's tech push and market pool, the expression of a need.
Yeah. So for us, the main.
Sergey, you have the answer to your question. You see, including Jan said, no, in proof of concept, we need to discuss about the money, because the investors will never invest without.
Okay. Yeah. That's so I'll probably use your vocabulary. It's more instructive.
Yes, definitely. The financial guys don't know something else but their particular financial slang. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's but they want to see cap tables. They want to see net per word value. They want to see discounted cash flow. It's the only stuff they understand. So yeah, you need to promote the competitive advantage of the technology. They will ask experts that they are paying to see if what you say is right or not, and then they want to discuss numbers with them. And by the way, when I was finally tuned they needed investment to launch ONERA Tech. They mandate a partner from KPMG to verify my numbers. And I had a huge debate and dispute with him, and you will laugh. He was applying a beta risk related to the aerospace technology. And I said, no, the beta risk needs to be one, because I'm using aerospace technology, but to irrigate all other sectors of the humankind, like biomedical, like food industry, like aerospace, of course, but car industry. So I don't understand why you use the beta risk to discount back my cash flow with a higher number. Okay? And the guy was looking to me, are you serious? Do you know what means beta risk? And you are discussing finance with me? And I'm telling you, I'm sorry for you. I made my executive certificate in management and leadership at MIT Sloan, a better school than yours. So yes, it's, you need, they only respect financial competencies. If not, they are looking to you like a techie guy. Wow, I do whatever I want with him. You need to speak like him.
Okay.
Thank you. The beta risk. The beta risk is the multiplier of the average loan rate. Okay, and when you are going for money, each money has a cost, which is beta risk multiplied by the average. So and he was surprised that I know what means this. He said, well, you are not data engineer. Yeah, I'm data engineer, and I'm also economist in innovation. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Other questions?
Yes, I have a question. My name is Anna. I'm coming from Josip Juraj Strossmayer University Technology Transfer Office. So we have an example.
How do you say, sorry, Josh Pura?
Josip Juraj Strossmayer University.
Okay. I don't know. I seen the flag of Croatia in the back, or?
Yes, Croatia, Terra Technopolis.
Okay.
So we have an example of a project. It's in the phase of proof of concept. And during the project activities, we made a patent search, and we realized that it's not patentable, but the project has some innovation project according to state of the art. So it's not patentable. So I'm asking you if you have some recommendations for us about IP strategy and about next steps or some story in.
Okay, Anna. First of all, it is not patentable because others patented or not?
Yes, it's patented. It's not the same, but it's the combination of hardware and software.
Okay. So it's something new in a combination of existing means.
Yes.
But if others have patents partially related to what you are intending to put on the market, you need to complete your studies of patentable or not with what we call freedom to operate. Are you sure that you are able and you are free to operate, and the guys which had patent will not attack you in justice for counterfeiting their patent? This needs to be really clear, because if not, you could go still to the market, but you have to ask them for a license. So if I understood, you have a hardware, you have also software, you combine them, and it is something which is new, but let's say this is patented, yeah?
Yes, some parts are patented, and they're similar like our project technology.
Absolutely. So if you are convinced that you will be...
excuse me, sorry. It's
Yeah.
based on the similar parts of hardware, not software. Software is completely different. Okay,
yes.
new one.
But if you are using a similar part, which is patented by somebody else,
Okay.
he could sue you in trial of being counterfeiting. So you really need a patent attorney to make a study and to definitely tell you you are free to operate, or you need a license from them on the patent. Okay?
Yes.
And once clear, then in order to negotiate with the others, or not negotiating because you are free to operate, because you are using a similar but quite different hardware, let's say like this, you will ask to your researchers how to get around what they patent, the others. Could you do something else different and then go for it? Or maybe try to patent the difference, but not go with the similar hardware patented by somebody else without telling him your intention to exploit on the market in a new association, a combination that your researchers discovered, because they could sue you in trial as being counterfeiting. Okay, so that's for the IP strategy, preparing this. And then you definitely need to be very tough in how you are going to the market and why you will do better in the market than them which have the patent. And this will provide you negotiation arguments while discussing with them. Okay? And additionally, something else. If you are Elon Musk, don't care about the IP, do your job, take the market, get some billions, but provision some millions to pay them back.
Okay.
Okay?
By
the way, Anna, generally we are in the world very accelerated and very complex, and I will say, first in market, take it all. Don't care about IP. But if you are strong enough to have some millions, and when you have the millions, there simply provision 5%, 10% from what you win to pay them back in a license.
Okay, the company is on the market, so they have some market strengths to push the product on the market. So, and just one more question. What do you think about intellectual property strategy? If everything is clear, should we think about, okay, we have software code as intellectual
Register,
and should
register the software to the National Agency of Protecting Informatics Programs or things like that. You must have something like this in Croatia too. You need to register. You need simply, it's a stamp. At that time, this software was mine and I was reading them. Done. You are protected to the date of deposit on the diskette of the source code. Yeah. Okay. And then stamp it, copyright the software everywhere. Everywhere when you disclose, never give the source code, just provide compiled code. Okay. And of course, the link between the software and everything which is very sensitive and very knowledgeable, keep it secret.
Okay. And should
I give you the example
involve trademark registration also?
Yeah, if you could register a brand, go for it.
Okay.
I give you the example of the Leosphere, the LiDARs. You know what means a LiDAR? You are in a LiDAR, imagine you are in a dark place, no light, and you have a torch, yes? Okay. And you discover a book, yeah, which is full with dust, and you are looking to the book with the light torch, and you blow up the dust, okay? And you see the dust moving into your light, okay? this is a LiDAR, but the source is laser, okay?
Yes.
The dust are submicronic particles, even at 10 kilometers away. And your eye is the sensor in infrared, and you discover how the particle is moving, okay? So this was not patented because everything is about equations, programming, how you get information in real time, fast calculations. And we didn't patent it. We simply transfer the technology and we keep it secret because as soon you patent, the Chinese could manufacture. Okay? You patent when you are sure that you could make the proof that somebody is copying you. If you are not sure that you could make the proof of somebody is copying you, better is to keep it secret.
Okay.
Good?
Thank you.
Yeah, I spent some holidays in Croatia, so maybe we could see each other.
Yes, it will be very nice.
One of the best places in the world for me, it's how you pronounce it, Plivice Jezera.
Oh, yes, it is. It's nice there, and also the part of the sea.
I prefer this, not the sea. I'm sorry. I prefer this, and I also did rafting on the Cetina River, and I jumped from the rocks into the river. It's great.
Okay.
I love Croatia.
Now
okay.
the next step should be continental part, Slavonia and Baranja. It's nice there also.
I've been in Montenegro, in Macedonia, and then passed to Albania and north of Greece. But I maybe have to see more. Yeah, I heard even in Serbia we could drink very good raki of coins. Maybe the best in the world. I will see.
Super, I'm coming from Serbia and I have a question.
Hi, Miloš.
Hi.
So you wait for me with the raki of coin?
Yes, rakia and wine as well. And also nice places to visit.
Excellent.
Nature.
So, good. What's your question?
Okay, I'm coming from Innovation Center of Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. And I'm head of Center for Rapid Prototyping and have projects related to technology transfer as well.
Okay.
So can we imagine now that TT office like a private profitable company? And what is the value, for example, of the plane ticket that cost 100 something in the value chain for TT officer services, because without it, it is more likely that this innovation will fail.
I know.
So, do you negotiate commercially and how? And can you show us some examples?
I will maybe disappoint you, but as I mentioned when I answered to Jan, there is only 15 to 20 technology transfer offices in the world which are self-sustainable financially. It's a type of activity which really needs not only services, it needs associated services with associated investment to fill the equity gap. And as I mentioned to you, in order to become beneficial, I'm sorry, it's not the guys which are doing the job which win the money. It's the guys which put the money to develop, which eventually win the money if they are operating 2/3 of the budget in market pool projects with existing small and medium enterprise, and not in more than 1/3 in technology push projects with startups where you will lose money. I see a question, Mr. Florin, does it make sense to invite technical directors from business when innovation is on proof of concept tier 3 for continuing developing innovation? Have you had such cases? Absolutely. This is the best way. Ask technical directors from corporations, but also from small and medium enterprise, presenting the proof of concepts, and maybe if they want it, this means that they have in their mind a market pull approach. They discover that your technology are better for an application, and you will not lose the money if you invest there. So to resume, Milos, if a technology transfer office is acting only as a service in qualifying markets, qualifying tech to markets, qualifying IP, putting IP strategies, pay for patents, and you need to pay the, you need to pay the tech transfer officer, you need to pay, well, this will never be a beneficial activity by itself. You need to associate this activity with the investment between POC and Demotech, between TRL3 and TRL6. You need to act also like a business angel. And the winning from the business angel will pay for the services. I don't know any technology transfer office which is self-sustainable, except the one I mentioned based on drugs in molecules or based on telecommunication standards. You don't have, I would say, at the scale of a city like Belgrade, you don't have enough researchers. So unless if you are making a technology transfer office for all the researchers in all the domains of Belgrade, maybe you have enough critical mass to become beneficial, because from 100 projects, one will gonna get anti-cancer drugs and it will bring you 2 million in royalties per year and you could pay the 20 guys. Maybe. You see, lucky few. If not, the smaller you are, more you will need money to be active, because you will never have the capacity. I was thinking to Bulgaria, I discovered these kind of activities are taking place in the so-called Sofia Technology Park, and they are acting for all Sofia. And they have 5 parks like this in all Bulgaria, only 5. And they are not doing only tech transfer. They are building other stuffs. And in France also, we have 14 society to accelerate tech transfer, but they are investing also like business angel, up to 500,000 euro per project. Okay? And the one which are beneficiary are only the one who are co-investing the money with existing small and medium enterprise. Extremely rare they get money back from startups. They are winning money almost all the time when they are working with small and medium enterprise, which take a new technology in order to open a new business unit based on a new product. Okay? But, well, and of course, they are winning license royalties when they license something to a corporation.
Thank you.
Sorry. So sorry if my answer is disappointing you. From what I know, and again, Milos, I don't have the absolute truth. So maybe it could work. Why not? It could be, miracles are possible, you know. But from what I said, and it's not much, but it's also quite enough, I've seen 300 to 400 projects from A to Z. Yeah. And well, it's from what I've seen, but it's coming from majority from Europe, and I had some inputs from MIT technology transfer officers. Ashley was driving this. Thomas O'Neill from University of Central Florida. Luis Puenza, the president, the provost of the Ecole University, which is very good in tech transfer. So I know 3, 4. Luc Chameau, the French Jean-Luc Chameau, he was provost at Georgia Tech. So let's say 4 universities from big campuses in America too. We shared in 2010, I organized for Technology Transfer Society, I captured this annual conference in Europe, and we organized in Augsburg in 2010 the conference, and I was chairing the section called specifically for practitioners, and we share there with Fraunhofer, with CEA from France, which the both are very well known as being very good players in tech transfer from technology. Fraunhofer in Germany, Commissariat Énergie Atomique in France. These guys, you know, CEA has a beneficial tech transfer office, but they are creating around 1,000 patents per year, just to tell you the critical mass of research, which is, and they have only one TTO office for doing this, okay? And they have patents in booming technologies like photovoltaic, like membranes for electrolyzers for hydrogen. And so that's why they are beneficial. Yeah. And of course, CEA starts to have their money like the Fraunhofer because they were partnering together in the MP3 standards, telecommunication and music. And, you know, all the MP3 standard group 23 patents. Among the 23, 5 were owned by Fraunhofer and CEA in France. So that's why they had money.
Okay, but I will repeat again the first part of question. On that scale that you show, for example, on example of airplane ticket that costs 100,
yeah,
there is maybe 10% for Amadeus activities.
No, it's 2.5 for Amadeus. It was 2 cents from ONERA, and in ONERA, it was 2 cents for ONERA, which is the research center, the French NASA equivalent. And in ONERA, my budget as TTO was 1% of the overall budget of ONERA. So I will tell you, from 100 euro, it's 1% from 2 cents.
Great. That's it, what I asked. Thank you.
Okay. It's nothing. It's peanuts.
1% from 2 cents. Thank you.
Out of 100.
Yeah.
Okay. A question for Sergey. How successful do you consider Horizon Europe activity in relation to TT? 0. Horizon Europe is good to finance R&D, but the technology transfer from Horizon is almost close to 0. It's unfortunately. And you know why? They are not working like DARPA is working. DARPA creates internet with ARPANET, DARPA creates artificial intelligence with Siri, DARPA creates with the challenge of DARPA Waymo, the autonomous car, and so on. But they are investing through program managers, not from external experts. A program manager gets on table, he's going for a technology. It's what the European Innovation Council is trying to replicate. They just hired program managers 2 years ago. And by the way, I'm shortlisted to become a program manager at European Innovation Council. Cross fingers for me. Okay.
Thank you.
Another question? It seems we finished.
Thank you. That was brilliant.
Thank you, Sergey.
Become most clear then.
We could see also together when everything will stop skiing at Borovets.
Thank you. Yes. Bye.
Bye. No other questions? Diana, we could stop the session, I think.
If there are.
Thank you guys for listening me. I at your disposal if you want to write me and to get more in deep details. And we're gonna publish the guide for tech transfer. And well, hope you joy and professional successes.
Okay, thank you, Florin.
Bye.
It was very good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.